Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Well, hello. Welcome along, fellow Fox fans. How are we going? This is obviously just been as shit as it was earlier because it's still not working. But hey, we won! Newcastle. I really don't know how this is looking at your end, guys, but it's looking shit at my end. I am going to retire, I'll tell you, on the money I'm going to get from it will be all right on the night. So I'm going to send this in, and it'll be about 5 lots of £50 clips. Welcome along. It is finally Leicester Till I Die TV. Brad was having problems earlier. I'm having problems now. Josh was out with his family. Who can blame him? He probably had more excitement than today. It wasn't the most exciting of games, but hey, we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. Remember, you are watching Leicester Till I Die. You can catch us live on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, Periscope, Twitter @LeicesterTID, and Facebook, of course, Leicester Till I Die. And if you want to watch us on catch up as well as the YouTube, we're on Google, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, and your favorite podcast. We are everywhere. So we won. We got 3 points. How are we feeling? Can't be feeling too bad after that. Let's just see what a couple of you got to say here. Great to grind out a result. I think that was definitely what we did today. Facebook user, hello. We can see and hear you. Well, that's something. That's always a bonus. Evening, afternoon, whatever. Good evening to you, Matthew. Good result. Not pretty, but 3 points. Do you know what? There was a thing on TalkSport recently, I think it was last week, and they were asking the question, would your team, or would you sooner your team get the 3 points and play like we did today, having to grind it out, or would you want pretty football all the time? I'll take it today. I'll take the 3 points. I tell you, I don't care how we play. All good in the hood. It certainly was. We've got 2 guys coming in. Josh, well, he's a bit late for the pre-match show, but he's made it for the post-match show. So I'll say good evening to Josh.
How are you, Chris? You're right, mate.
Yeah, I think if I can get this working, I'll be absolutely fine. And we'll welcome in my normal post-match chum, Tillerman's biggest fan, and that is Brad. Good evening, Brad.
Good evening, lads. How are you?
How are you, Brad? You're right, mate.
I tell you what, Brad, and I'm just going to clear that brand off there. Otherwise, you won't be able to see me, which will probably be a good result, to be honest with you. Let's start with Brad, because you were very critical of Tielemans in the first half, but thoughts on the overall performance of the team?
I mean, first off, I want to give a shout out because obviously, as you know, Chris, I've not been asked to do this from back. I've literally just come off the back of Newcastle Fan TV, and they asked the same question. I'll answer the same. I think Newcastle very much forced us to seem poor in that first half because they frustrated us. I don't think we got a lot going. I mean, I know we spoke at half time, and I said Tielemans couldn't get a pass right. He couldn't get the ball out from under his feet. Much improved in the second half, obviously, and he capped it off with a goal. But at half time, he was miles away from me in being man of the match because, rightly, Newcastle, buoyed by the confidence of picking up a point against Liverpool, frustrated us. And in the end, at the half time, you were thinking, Man City and Liverpool, they can come into a game like this 9 times out of 10 and get the win one way or another. And these are the games that we need to start doing that too. And today, we did it. We got the 2-1 win. So, in the end, I was happy with it, but I was not happy first half. Not at all with the performance.
Josh, you've got to go soon, but quickly, what are your thoughts on the performance?
I just want to quickly say I agree with Brad. I've seen a lot of people online give Youri Tielemans man of the match, and while I could see they have, I think I agree with Brad. First off, I thought he was miles behind everything really. Like you said, I think he tried a few flicks here and there, and some of his passing weren't great. Can't fault his goal; it was an outstanding finish. But yeah, for me, mate, I think like you say, it's one of them where definitely, we take the results at the 3 points, and in hindsight, it's a massive win for us. Liverpool went there and struggled. They only got a point there, so you don't underestimate how important the 3 points are today. I know the performance weren't great, but definitely massive win for us that.
It is, and somebody has got a message for you here, Brad. You need a haircut.
No, the more I can hide it, the better. Trust me. You'll regret saying that if I have a haircut.
We were saying before, Matt, you're going for the 70s porn star look, aren't you?
Well, it's working. It's working.
No,
right?
not that I know what a 70s porn star looks like before, just say anything.
Don't cut your hair, Brad. Don't cut it. Yeah, it looks very Charles Manson, I think.
No.
He's gone from Jon Snow to Charles Manson.
He's got a better hairline than me. Look at the state of mine, look. I wish I had his hair.
Why do you think I'd wear a hat? I tell you, there's nothing keeping this on. I have to super glue this on, I mean, it was a good win. And again, quickly before, because I say I appreciate your time is short, Josh. But if we have a look at the table as it stands, and then we'll have a go with Brad afterwards, sort of in a bit more detail at the match. But we're back up to third. Chelsea, and you might be surprised to know that Chelsea are actually playing a game. You wouldn't have thought so if you've been watching Sky, because they hardly ever mentioned it, especially just before the Leicester game. But did I say that out loud? But Chelsea, even if they win, can't catch us. So it's looking good, isn't it, guys?
Yes, mate, definitely. I'd like to. So sorry, Brad. I'd like to push the goal difference up a bit more, as daft as it sounds. Because I know the teams below us that are within 3 points of us, they could still sort of catch us, apart from, like you say, Everton. It definitely, mate. I mean, I know they've got a game in hand, Liverpool United, but especially, I think is it the FA Cup next weekend? Is it? So it's always important to especially get a league win just before that, just so. You sort of keep that gap between you and the chasing pack behind you. So, but going on what you said about this Sky coverage, it's disgusting, mate. Absolutely disgusting. It was pathetic. Really was.
Yeah. Brad, I don't know whether you would agree with that. I mean, I've been watching Amazon, I've been watching BT, and I don't know whether it's the fact that they sort of just seem to have a single channel for each individual game, but there's none of this talking about other teams all the time beforehand.
No, I don't like watching the build-up. I literally tune in just about a minute before the match goes, because that's the only time they'll ever talk about the actual game that's in front of them. Because Sky are the worst corporates for it, but we know it. It's not new. It's not a mystery to us why or why it is, and it's why I just don't bother with any match reactions anymore unless it's from the actual interviews from the players themselves. or the games on. That's the only thing I ever really watch. Plus, the way I was watching it was about as illegal as the people that were on the show. They're not wanted in this country. If you can guess the two commentators that aren't allowed in this country that were in the studio at
Well, I can edit this out, I'm sure. Please don't mention any names. Let me at least get my solicitor on the phone and just see if you can you tune in, mate? We've got a bit of a problem here. Watch what that Brad's saying. But just quickly moving on, gentlemen here, too much passing around at the back, especially with 3 or 4 Newcastle players around. They give it well, kick it out, play sometimes. Have to learn just to hoof it and take the pressure off. That's Rodgers for you, isn't it, Josh? He likes to play from the back.
Yes, but we've seen it especially today. I think there were times, especially in the first half, where it looked like we may get caught out. It's one of them though, where I mean, especially like you say, we get coming up against teams that are going to sit back. Sometimes you are going to have to knock the ball side to side. It's frustrating to watch. We know it is, but I think it's all about obviously working the ball up the pitch, creating the chances and that. But so yeah, sometimes you have got to be patient. But today it was, especially first half, it was frustrating when it looked like we could get out them a lot more than what we did.
Yes. I mean, just showing there, Josh, Brad, I mean, sorry, Chelsea 2-0 down, that's doing us favours, isn't it?
Doing us favours. Man City have about 73 players out due to bloody COVID or injuries, and they've got like a 19-year-old in goal. How are they 2-0 down? Is it because they spent 80 million or 60 million or whatever it was on a left back? Because he sounds like he's getting destroyed according to the comments. Don't know where they got him
yeah,
from.
It just said then. But yeah, it is 25 minutes gone. Man City 2, Chelsea 0. I'll take that. I think that's still.
Yeah.
I'm just having a quick look where Man City are in the league. They are. That takes them up to 5th, but it still leaves them 3 points behind us. So. That's saying that they've got a couple of games in hand. We've just got to accept it's one of those seasons, isn't it, where we're not going to know all the things are changing every day. Games getting cancelled. We're going to be playing 3 or 4 times a week again soon. But do you have to go then, Brad? Shall we let you go and say thank you very much? Not Brad, sorry, Josh.
You mean me? I've got a few more minutes. I've got a few more minutes, mate. If you got anything, you'd be sound, mate.
Right.
Fire him some questions, Chris, and then we can let him go.
We have not. I mean, it's only Liverpool beating us away from home. Why are we playing so much? And it wasn't a great game today, but we won. Why are we managing to do that away from home? And we'll get this to Josh before he goes. And we can't do it at home.
It's daft as it sounds. I know, like, especially when crowds actually obviously do come back into stadiums and things. I know, like, away football does suit us because we can't play on the counter and we are likely to give teams a lot more of the ball. But it's a strange one, really, mate. I genuinely couldn't tell you. Like you say, I think playing away from home, we obviously look a lot more comfortable than we do at home. It's a strange one, really, but. Obviously, if you're winning games, I suppose it doesn't really matter. I just need to pick the home form up a bit more.
We do. Looking at we tried to talk about this before the game, Brad, but we were having difficulty. But looking at the squad that he put out, it's pretty much up there, virtually the strongest squad, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I even think if you put players on, you'd still consider that a very good squad to go out there, because it's pretty much like for like. Silent Shooter's great to finally see him get. He got like 12, 13 minutes out today after his return. So that was good to see. I even think, like you said, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference if you took someone like Evans out for Soyuncu or something like that. It is pretty much up to full strength, and it's weird to say that when you consider that not a single mention of a certain Ricardo Pereira was needed over the last couple of weeks because of the way Brendan Rodgers has been willing to bend his yield on that right side, with Albrighton getting more game time and obviously the loan of Under and whatnot, and Justin has come on leaps and bounds, has made it look a lot stronger squad, which does help. it does help when them players step up and find
I don't
the
think
game.
we're missing Pierre at the moment, are we? I mean, you know, Castagna and
No,
Justin and Fofana, neither of them would probably have expected to play as much game time as they have done this season, Josh. But with everything, the way everything's gone on, and Castagna's come in, obviously we want Pierre back, but it's going to be difficult about who you drop.
To be honest, mate, I mean, you can't drop Justin at all. I think, like, when obviously, like you say, Ricardo got injured and we knew we were going to be out for some time with the big injury, I think a lot of us worried. I'm definitely worried because I think going last season, until the injury, he were a massive player for us. But like I say, I mean, like we say it nearly every week. It's becoming a common theme, really. But you can't drop Justin at all. I thought again today, I thought he played really well. On the front foot, he went forward really well. Defending, he were really good as well. So definitely, I think Justin, for me at the minute, he's one of the first names on the team sheet without doubt.
After 9 minutes, Brad, Vardy got a goal. Was it offside?
Yeah,
so he was offside. He was given offside, but
yeah, I mean, he was slightly offside. But it's just typical Jamie Vardy. Your heart's in your mouth as a defender and an opposition fan. Even when that flag does go up, because you think he's quick, he might look offside, but he's not. And yeah, in the end, it was offside. But it just shows he still put it in the net, and he rounded the keeper. He got it in from the tight angle, and it was a good finish. It's just a shame he was offside.
I think Newcastle were playing a very risky game today. They did seem to have that high line, didn't they? Which suits Vardy, but Vardy just wasn't quite timing his runs out. Good evening, Scott. Welcome along. Scott says here, teams drop off us when we play at home, which leaves little room for our fullbacks and Vardy to get behind the team's defence. Yeah, it's probably got a point there. Referee was getting quite involved, wasn't he, early on, Josh? He had quite a few nice touches.
I've never seen anything like it, Pete. Never. Not only that, but even like it sounds crazy, but even before he touched the ball first time, I thought his positioning was really weird. He was like sort of, you see a lot of refs and they'll stand back from the action, give themselves 10, 15 yards. It was in the middle of it all. I genuinely couldn't believe it. And then it happened the second time. I thought this has got to be a joke. And then third time when it went in our favour, I could not believe it. Do you know what, mate? I thought the referee was quite poor today. Anyway, to be honest, I didn't think he was great at all. But yeah, like you say, he had at one point he seemed like he had more touches than Vardy did in the first half. It was mental. It really was.
Probably. I mean, I haven't got his name here, but I mean, he's one of the newer referees, and I think it possibly showed. He was getting quite involved. Corners getting better, Brad.
They are, and I think maybe the shock is slowly wearing off because we're actually starting to attack these decent corners. And I think for the first couple of weeks when Maddison started getting them right, we were that shocked they were maybe beating the first man that no one actually attacked it. And now we're actually attacking them. I mean, if Fofana keeps working on his head on training, then maybe he'll hit one on target this time next week because he's the one that's getting on the end of them. And he's the one that's, if he could get him on target, he'd be dangerous, wouldn't he? And let's just hope that comes good for us because I had a joke on the channel and I saw someone post it, a mate of mine saying it feels like it's been about 84 years since we scored from a corner. So it'd be nice to bring that to an end soon.
We are still 16th in the table. I think I made a note of it somewhere, and as always, I can't find it. But we are still the only team in the Premier League not to have scored from a set piece. And we are 20th or 16th out of the 20th in the table for conceding a set piece. So I think, Josh, when you look back at our history under O'Neill, set pieces were our strength, weren't they? Yeah,
I know we conceded from set piece today with a free kick. I think today I could sort of forgive today because I think initially it were a decent headed clearance. I think it were Ndidi that got his head to the ball, and then Carroll in the right place at the right time. But again, I agree, mate. It's especially when they brought Andy Carroll on. Especially that last 10 minutes, you dreaded any sort of set piece against us because anything could happen, really. But yeah, it's another thing we need to work on because it's again pointed out every week now. Apparently,
the ref was promoted, and thanks for this, Brad Hicksy Hicks. Ref was promoted from the EFL last season. Toon fan coming along here, Jonathan Young. I'll bring you back up there. Thanks a lot, Jonathan. Very magnanimous of you. Yeah, it was. It wasn't the most exciting game that we can. And TC 5028 on Periscope. Do you think we can achieve top 4 at the end of the season? I asked all of you guys to predict certain things the other week for your New Year predictions. I think I'd got to the 5th. I'd got us as 5th. What did you get us as, Brad?
I think I had us finishing 2nd, I believe. I very strongly believe it.
And Josh, I can't remember what you put, to be honest with you.
You know what, mate? When it comes to Leicester, like I shouldn't be a pessimist, but I am. I always sort of fear the worst. I've had us down as 6th, but I think it's that the race for the top 4 is going to be really, really tight. So I think even though we're going to be 6th, I think it's going to be within 2 or 3 points come the end of the season. It's going to be really close.
Yeah. We saw Maddison go down in the first half, holding his knee. That was a little bit of a scare for us, wasn't it? Josh, let's go back to
you. Yeah, it was. Especially look at the replay. It looked like he landed really funny, and I genuinely thought he was going to go off because he looked like he was in a lot of pain. But obviously, like I say, ran off and scored the first goal, which was massive for us. So yeah. I thought Maddison had a decent game today. And like just going back to what you're saying about his corner taking, he's got a lot better, definitely a lot better. And I thought he had a good game today.
And Brad Schmeichel coming out, he was nearly into Newcastle's half for that one kick out, wasn't he?
I thought he was going to shoot. I thought he was going to take a proper goal. I thought he was going to try and rob Darl off his line or something. I mean, but that just shows his brilliance. Look, I mean, we can all sit here and question his kicking, because I would question his kicking as a semi-professional goalkeeper. I'd like to throw that out there. It was only in the Irish leagues, but still, I was out there for it.
Can I be honest with you, Matt? You mention that every week, and I bite my tongue because I know if I don't ask you, that one day you will tell us.
Yeah, but I mean, we could go on the bad points, but honestly, he saved us more times than not. And I understand why fans get a bit jittery with his kicking, because even I sometimes see his kick go in there and think, one day he's going to kick that and it's going to land us in trouble. But until it does, he can keep kicking. But yeah, I mean, his goalkeeping awareness, it just shows it, doesn't he? Because Callum Wilson's not a slouch, and he beat him to the ball. He was already out of his box before that ball was even clocked onto by Callum Wilson. So fantastic by Casper. Shame he couldn't score from the kick.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you say he had to come from it. At half time, I was thinking, please wake me up. I've got to be honest with you. It wasn't a game that kept me on the edge of the seat. We started off really well, but by then, Josh, we'd let Newcastle come back into the game, hadn't we?
Yeah, I think, like you say, first half weren't great at all. I think first 10 minutes we played, we looked sharp and going forward, and it looked like we were trying to release the ball at the right times, and we were putting pressure on them. But after that, it just sort of same old against teams that sit back against us, really. Half time, I think we shaded it only just with, like you say, Vardy's goal being offside. But other than that, I didn't really think neither team really created anything. And to be honest, it looked like it could go either way, really, especially with their set pieces and getting big lumps into the box. So
I thought, Brad, going into the second half, up until that point, Brighton wasn't having the best of games for me.
No, ironically, I think the Leicester players could hear me, because I was sat there watching it going, there is no point Albrighton being on that pitch if he's just holding it up to cross it into Vardy in the middle and Maddison hanging back at the edge of the box. Because Albrighton's on that pitch to put in a decent ball, and he was putting it into 7 Newcastle players and 1 player, and then all of a sudden he gets involved, he does a little bit of work, and obviously he assisted the second goal for Tielemans. So I'm thinking maybe I should shut up, or maybe my reverse psychology works. I don't know, because 2 players I was saying aren't doing much today suddenly kicked their asses into gear and did stuff for us. So it was good to see. I'm always happy to be proved wrong in that sense.
I know. And Newcastle, Josh, did catch us out a couple of times early. And they came out, not all guns firing, but they certainly came out and were having a go early second half, weren't they?
Yeah, mate. I think they probably thought they could get something out of the game. Really, I think like Steve Bruce with his team, especially like seeing how Newcastle have played so far this season, they sort of set up to keep it as tight as they can, and then second half, if they feel like they can get something from the game more than a draw, then they will go for it. So it's if we knew we were going to be frustrated. To be fair, I genuinely thought we might draw today because I knew how they'd set up. But like I say, thank God we got the win.
And Brad, are you just messaging me now? I got to shoot. Have you got to go now?
Me, mate, I've got to go.
Yeah,
You say, Josh, I'll go. It's all right, mate.
This is vodka I'm drinking.
That's it. Nice one from me, chaps. Before I leave, I'll give my man of the match to I gave it Evans, but just had a thought indeed he had a good game today as well. So
not a problem. All right, mate. You have a good weekend and stay safe.
Cheers, chaps. Happy New Year, lads. Speak to you soon.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers. Thanks to Josh there. It is Josh that's gone, Brad that's staying. Look, I've got 4 kids. I've got the 2 boys and the 2 girls, and I'm still, after 23 and 21 and 24 years, still getting the names mixed up, Brad. I've known you 6 months, so you can't expect too much.
Yeah, I'm on that waiting list to get there before the names sink in.
Can you not sort of have it typed on your forehead or something? You've got it there. In fairness,
I've got it there as best as I can, mate. I mean, unless you want to move it. So.
You see, more than 2 people chatting, and I'm just sort of, I'm gone. 1-0, Maddison, and unselfish cross from assist, I should say, from Vardy.
Yeah, it's just typical of Vardy, and it's something that I think if you look back over his career, if you was to say take it from today and work your way back to the start of his Leicester career, it's something that again, as age proves, you could say, Vardy is clicheically, he's got better of age like a decent wine. And over the last couple of years, he's learned to maybe not just run, get his head down and leather the ball, which he probably would have been right in a position he was once the ball fell from Carney to have lost it in the net. But it's like he knew, and it shows the link-up play, he knew someone would be in and around that area. And he just played it straight back to Maddison, and Maddison duly obliged with a fantastic finish. And, and that maybe kicked us on a bit. Maybe I thought maybe when Tillman's wrapped it in for 2-0 that this might be the part where Newcastle's knees go from underneath them and they buckled a bit. But fair play to them. They kept us honest and they put in the hard working thing. But it was 2 fantastic finishes and very, like you say, very.
I think we needed that first goal from Maddison, didn't we? Because, I think the longer it went on, I must admit, I never actually felt nervous. And no disrespect to Newcastle, but watching the game, I never thought, and they did, sometimes they cut us wide open. They had some good moves and were putting some good balls across. A la Leicester, nobody was on the end of it. But I never felt worried, but I said the goal did settle us down. And then, of course, your man of the first half, Tillemans, nice effort with the second. He meant that, didn't he?
Oh, didn't he just? I think I was actually hit with a bit of frustration in his own first half performance because I saw a comment there, and I wasn't faulting his work rate because he was running around everywhere. But like you said, when he does seem to struggle when he's got 1 or 2 players around him at close quarters, because that's when he really lost the ball. And thankfully today, it didn't really cost us anything. He didn't really, it went out for a throw-in at worst more times than not. But it was something that was happening a bit more consistent. And that's just me being very, probably uber critical as a fan of someone of his quality nature, because look at the goals he just put in today and the passes he's used to unlock. I think the reason we won today that kind of answers the question of home and away is it's trying to not get that Achilles heel as the home side, that even when you're trying to be strong and hold a side like Leicester out, like Fulham, etc., have done to us at the King Power, when you're at home, regardless of fan situation and i.e. not being in or not a lot being in, you can't help but have a nibble at trying to get a win when you're at home. And I think that first goal, the way it came about when Fofana moved it quickly, Evans at Maddison, Vardy, goal sort of thing, I think that showed that Newcastle maybe let themselves down for that split second, and our quality showed for the goal, and that's where the game opened up.
Gentleman there just asking why it's not putting our names up. You need to click on the link that is attached to that post. So the thread that I've put up saying we're going live, There'll be a StreamYard logo and a StreamYard link. If you click on there, there's no fee to pay, no download. It just takes your Facebook information, and then you, sir, would look like that. It just brings your Facebook in. But like I say, it doesn't, and you can take it off afterwards if you want, or leave it up. It just doesn't do anything. Like I say, there's no cost or anything involved at all. Somebody said logged out, and yeah, but you said you do need to click on that link. If it's not working, you click on the link. I think you have got a problem then. There's a Facebook user here, and it's a good point. This is a good job there were no Newcastle fans today, else there would have been a draw in that last 10 minutes. They were going for it. Brought Carroll on. Carroll not scored for Newcastle for 10 years. Of course, he's going to come on against Leicester and score.
Yeah, he didn't do it in the way I thought he was. I got brought about that when they said Carroll coming on, and I thought, oh, this is where we end our run of not conceding directly from a corner. And lo and behold, he did score, but not with the conventional Carroll way. But I don't know. I saw 4 minutes come up on the board, and I think when it was 2-1 in stoppage time, and you looked at the way Leicester played them 4 minutes, they weren't in a rush, were they? They weren't in a rush. The only way you could probably say they were in a rush was to get it in the Newcastle corner on that hours, and once that was it, they took the sting out of the game, and that's something that, again, through the years, and it's not just Rodgers, although he's probably stressed it even more. But again, it just shows the core unit of our teams, because maybe back in the Championship days and less naive when they weren't so strong together as a unit, they might have tried to go for that killer third, which isn't necessary, like you say, especially if the crowd are there to cheer Newcastle on when it's 2-1. You don't want to give them a chance to hit you on the break, and we managed it once that happened. So I don't think the fans would have done too much. In fact, I think the second game, you'd have seen the floods would have, they'd have left, they'd have parted like Noah's Ark, or whatever the expression is. Get me Bible mixed. I'm not that religious, I'm afraid.
Well, again, I think you were always going to get Carroll scoring at Christmas, weren't you?
Oh, of course, sure. Christmas Carol. Can't go by that.
Come on, I've still got plenty of crackers to get through.
Oh, getting from set out.
Ching. 2-1. I mean, like you say, it was pleasing to see that when we were getting the ball, because it is frustrating, and I know we get frustrated when other teams do it, but other teams do it. 2-1 up, 4 minutes to go, take it into that corner. Don't try and have a shot that gives the ball away, that gives them a goal kick and gives them a chance to come up. It was, as you just said, really sensible play from us. Yeah.
Sometimes, you've got to sack the game plan on the head and just go do the sensible thing, because it is annoying. It's annoying to be on the other end of it, and we've seen it enough times. But the teams we've seen it that have done that to us, I've done it for the biggest purpose. They either needed the win, they're desperate for the result, they're a top quality side, so they don't want to drop points, or they're rivaling us for a position and it keeps them ahead of us. So why we took so long to do it over the last couple of years, we've only started doing it and being a bit selfish in that, I don't know. But it's good to see, because like you say, we've done it and it's need to be done, and sometimes it needs must. At the end of the day, we'd be sitting here absolutely ripping someone, a new one, had they tried to be doing something too clever, Newcastle smashed it long, and Andy Carroll volleyed in for 2-2. We'd have been ripping them a new one.
Somebody just said earlier as well that Man City have gone 3-0 up. So they are having a good afternoon, and it's doing us a big favour as well.
Well,
I want to talk offside with you, Brad, because I don't know whether I missed this earlier on, whether this is a new thing that they've brought in, but they allow play to go on. So you score the goal or whatever, and the flag only goes up after it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to handle a situation, because in the nicest way possible, because I know, managers, when the media try and ask them questions to maybe try and force them to boil over or blame a player for something that they've done, it takes away that excuse of saying, Oh, well, I know he wasn't offside, but our players stopped because they thought he was, and the flag went up, and it was confusing. Because I remember, if you remember last year, our favourite striker in the Premier League, the world's best striker in the Accho, scored that winner against Everton, didn't he? Like 90 odd minutes it was. And Everton, half the defence stopped, but the ones that mattered didn't stop, and he finished it, but the flag had already gone up, but he did his job and he scored it. And then when it was checked by a nose area, he was onside and the goal stood. I think it was more of a case of, unless it's clear and there is a good yard between them. And to be fair, if you're a striker of that caliber, you know you're offside by a good yard or two at that point. Let's be honest with you. But I think it's a good way they try and do it. If it's close, we've got the technology. Use it, as the saying is. If it's there to be used to clear up calls like that, I mean, I thought it was there for clear and obvious, but apparently it's there for tight calls as well. But my point stands is, if you're going to allow VAR to rule the offside, and the linesman going, I think he is, but I can't be certain, keep your flag down, let the ball go in the net, and then let VAR step in.
I mean, you should always play to the whistle anyway. You shouldn't be looking at the flag. You should, players should play to the whistle. I just don't get it, to be honest with you, because I'm jumping up and down celebrating, and then his flag goes up 10 minutes later. And if the linesman is not 100% sure that player is offside, he shouldn't give it, surely.
Right, I'm going to make the statement out here right now. So if anyone wants to take this and put it out on social media or call me daftest brush for saying it, cricket, before you get paint out and watch it dry, if you don't like cricket, hear me out. Leg before wicket, yeah, I know, right? Leg before wicket, LBW for short, right? Is say if you don't know what that is, it obviously stands for leg before wicket. But the bowler hits his pads and he's going, how's that? And the umpire goes, no, I don't think it's out. If he reviews that situation and it looks like it might, and less than 50% of the ball, to be politically correct for how it's done, is not going to hit the stump. So if 49% of the ball is hitting the stumps, but 51 isn't, it goes with umpire's decision. Now, if you think about an offside, if you say, oh, well, his left chest there is, but his right chest there ain't, the officials haven't given it, and I'm not going to overturn it. Could you not implement that sort of thing to go, well, it's officials' decision? They didn't call offside. We haven't got enough evidence to overturn it, so we're not gonna. The goal stands. Would that not be a way we solve this nose hair being offside, shoelace keeping him on, butt cheek? I don't know. But could you not have a decision where it's
controversial now? I'm going to be totally controversial now and bring something up that I said years and years and years ago. Let's just get rid of offside altogether. Let's play without offside.
Well, yeah, but then you'd have a load of Pelés, wouldn't you? You'd have a load of Pelés on your scorecard. So,
did I read somewhere that somebody said that Pelé, he was better than Pelé, and Pelé only scored...
I can tell you who it was. I saw the article myself. It was Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
That was it.
I don't care for Pelé's record because he scored about 900 goals offside in today's football.
Yeah. Mr. Modest himself. Scott here just coming in, thought Newcastle dropped their heads when Steve Bruce made the double substitution on about the 60th minute, especially taking Joe Linton off and bringing on Murphy. It was, in my opinion, a risk from Bruce. Well, it was a risk that went wrong, wasn't it? We solved the offside problem by having players in charge of the camera. There's always a lot to be said. And quickly, before we come back onto the match, I just want to make this point, because there's always said, there's no reason for we should have ex-players becoming referees and linesmen because they've played the game, they understand it. But they can get more money doing a one-day stint for Sky than they get for doing a month for the FA doing referee and linesman. And yes, we would, I'd love to see more ex-pros doing that. And I don't know why they don't do it, certainly from the lower leagues, the likes of, and no disrespect to them, but the Rochdales, the Oldhams, the Wickham players there, they've still got the playing experience. They're never probably going to be a pundit on Sky because they haven't played for one of the big six. So getting them in as that somehow, maybe making the payback. I don't know. Surely that's got to be a good idea, Brad.
It sounds it on paper, but there's way too many fans that would go, no, he loves that side too much, or he backs that side too much. And you hear it enough when pundits give their pre-matches, Lawrence and Garth Crooks and all them. And I know they get a lot of heat from lots of fans, not just Leicester fans, but fans in general, for biasness towards the top six. Do you really want the Sky? Do you really want the Sky pundits who talk about a game that's not even kicked off yet, reffing Leicester City versus Tottenham?
But what I'm saying is, it would be good to have Leicester Newcastle. If the lines come from Rochdale, if the other linesman had come from Oldham, and the ref had come from Wycombe Wanderers, like the current ref got any allegiance, or they have ever played for Leicester or Newcastle, they're not given that game. I don't know. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. Mark's made the point there. 3 more wins and we're safe. Yeah, that's always good to hear. Bring it on. Another season in the Premier League. Your favourite moment of the whole show, Brad, and you know what's coming. In fact, it won't come because it's not working. There we go. There we go. So possession, we edged that 57-43. 9 shots on, 3 on target. But we got those 3 on target. We scored with 2 of them. So that's better than the other week.
Yeah, I think, it's something that's come up quite a common pattern when you bring up these stats, depending on the lineup that's out, of course. And I know that's obviously been injuries, and I'm not laying any blames here, because we've had to rest Vardy at times. Maddison hasn't always been fit. We've had to wrap them in cotton wool since their return, so we've not been able to put out what you consider, like you said earlier in the show, Chris, this to be one of our, if not the strongest lineup we could put out to date with what we've seen. Our conversion rate, again, that extra bit of quality, that extra bit of first team finesse out there, 3 shots on target, 2 goals. Whereas against Palace, I think it was something like we had 6, didn't we? And it was only 1 or something like that. And you look at the difference in
one game and only 3 on target.
Yeah, and sometimes that just shows that why I think the depth that we use, like Mendy, like Chowdhury, not so much in the Atro, but the players that have come in so far, when they've come in, like Fuchs when he stepped in, they're great to come in and do a job, like we say, for maybe a game or 2. And I know they've had to do that over a longer period than they'll probably expecting, but they can still do it. You can just see that edge of quality goes from the squad, don't you? If you look back at our last few positive results, you'd go, look at that lineup, X amount of shots, 2-3 goals. This game where the squad wasn't flooded with them top quality world-class players or whatever level you hold them on, the conversion rate up front wasn't as good. And I think that's where you've seen that today, because had that been the side that played against Crystal Palace having only 3 shots, we might have ended up losing that game 1-0.
Yeah.
So I just think you've got to give a lot of credit to the quality that's out there on show to get a result like that for us today, because it was needed, and it backs up the Palace. It makes Palace's draw look better.
But we've got to look at the fact of, if we're not shooting, we're not going to score, whether we get them on target or not. We've got to shoot. And I know this is Manchester City, but in 45 minutes, Manchester City have had 11 shots. Now, I don't know about on target, but they've had 11 shots. We had 9 in 90 minutes. Yeah,
but it's, again, I will make that point, and I'll make it until I can't ever come on this show again, if I'm no longer here, which is, I don't care, as long as we're scoring more goals than who we're playing against. I mean, Man City, didn't they have the same amount? They had double, if not more shots than us against us, and look at the scoreline we got against them. I think we had 7 shots on target that game and scored 5. So I'm not arsed. if Man City go and have another 27 shots against Chelsea and only ends 3-0, I'll be going, well, they had 47 shots, mate, and only won 3-0. So that's how I see it.
You know, I love playing devil's advocate and winding you up about this.
Yeah,
but
I can see that stick, mate. I can see it just on its own.
I'd love to say it's not the stick, but I can't. But there we go. Just before I'm just going to while I'm bringing some comments up, guys, let us know who you think your man of the match was. And we're going to come on to that in a second. But post up there who you think your man of the match is. I'm just going to have a quick 10-second break, and then we'll be back straight after this.
Hi, Alan Smith here. Be sure to watch and listen to Chris on Leicester Till I Die TV. You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels. Up the Foxes!
I hope that worked. I'm not sure that it did, but hey, it's cooking different. So yeah, let's have a look. Whilst that, let's just have a look at some comments that have been coming in. Somebody here, I don't know if I brought this up earlier, probably was in shock. Somebody agrees with you there, Brad. Not sure what point it was making, but you do make very good points on everything, so it could have been any of them.
I do try. I think it was the LVW. Maybe he got excited about my cricket thing and that he was just, I think that was when it came up.
Barnes needs a shooting coach. Were we thinking that last week?
Hold on a minute. Andy, you say he needs a shooting coach. He scored half his goals. His Leicester City career goals, half of them have come this season. We only weren't shooting enough. What's he got? 7 goals in all competitions this season? That's from my left winger, mate. You can't say... What more do you want from him now before you start saying... Come on, give him some credit, mate. Come on. That you can't say he's not doing it.
He has improved. I think last season you look at how he played and how he's playing this season, and he's dug us out that poo hole quite a few times with the odd strike, hasn't he? I think he's improved with his coaching, like you say, Brad.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think we need another striker? I think we all agree with that, don't we? We all want another striker. I can get rid of a couple as well.
Definitely.
I don't know. I could say this one, Andy. I'd probably. Oh no, let me just bring Andy's comment back up. It jumped up a little bit there. Where are we? There we go. Let me bring this one up. Also, a final pass coach. We do seem to struggle with that final pass a lot, don't we?
I think the thing is, we try and play the perfect ball. We try to play that ball that, like, it's almost like a movie slow-mo motion where it just goes past the foot of the defender and it just goes into his pass and it's on the right side of him and then it's like movie-esque recording we're asking for with the passing. It's like the inch perfect ball of dreams that gets through in. Sometimes maybe we're a bit susceptible to that and teams cock on and cut it out, but we're not up against dummies either, you know what I mean? We're not up against people that don't have a clue. We are up against a Newcastle side that at the end of the day are professional footballers. So you've got to give a bit of credit to them for cutting them out and seeing them a bit early because I know what we're going to try and do. And we do, when we get it wrong, it does look a bit silly, but you've got to credit the opposition as well for that, especially today.
Right, well, here we go. We'll go down the list. I've been told off by Andy for not upset. I shouldn't upset Jon Snow. You've still no idea really about that, have you? So somebody here has gone for Tillemans as man of the match, and somebody else has gone for Tillemans. TC5028 on Periscope, which is at Leicester TID, has gone for Evans. Albrighton had a solid game, decent interception. Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with him first half. Anyway, man of the match for Mark was Johnny Evans, and it's his birthday today. He had a good solid game. Rich Sports, good evening to Rich. Rich is a Man United fan, but don't hold that too much against him, especially because he's saying we're one of the big six now. If we're one of the big six, Rich, who's dropped out? Who's dropped out if you're going to be one of the big six? Brookline, good evening, Brookline. I believe Brookline's in America. Our centre-backs are excellent, but if they could occasionally put a big head on the ball and stick it into the net, we could see an extra 6 to 9 points this year. Man of the match, Evans, right here, agree, Brad. We could always keep Gray. Good evening to Thailand. Net from Thailand. Good evening. Hope you're well. Barnes for England Euro squad. I have heard that. I was in the papers earlier that he might get called up. Arsenal dropped out, probably. But let's have a look. Let's go and have a look at Alan Bennett. Alan very kindly, post-match, every match, chooses man of the match and rates the manager and the team's performance. And he does this straight after the show. Doesn't look like us, doesn't have sort of 10, 15 minutes to think about it. I'm on his back. As soon as the final whistle goes, come on, Alan, get this so I can put it up. So he's very much off the cuff as soon as the final whistle goes. And he's gone for 8 for the manager's performance. Did he get it right, in your opinion? He's gone 7 for the team's performance. Yeah, it was a bit off at times. And Tielemans is man of the match, possibly on the second half performance. Brad, quickly before we go, agree with any of that at all?
See, I'm going to upset a few people here, but I think you were man of the match over 90 minutes. And for me, it's a toss-up between Evans and Wesley Fofana, because yet again, Fofana was brilliant. I think to answer Brookline's comment, Fofana just needs to get his accuracy on his head in. He's definitely got his head on the ball a few times. I see where she's coming from with that, or here. Sorry, that's me just assuming that's a female there. But yeah, I think Evans probably wants man of the match, because I'm sorry, but as good as Tielemans improved in the second half, and I can see definitely with his goal why maybe it's easier to spot pick him out as man of the match. His first half performance flattered to deceive because he wasn't that brilliant. And I think Evans and Fofana were great over 90 minutes. And I'm going to pick Evans as my man of the match. But I think Alan Bennett's got it right. I need to edit that on Instagram because I've got the team down as an 8, not a 7, like he has there. Shows I can't read, but I'm right sometimes. But yeah, his ratings are pretty fair on a performance like that. At the end of the day, we came away with the win in a frustrating, scrappy, hard work game. So you can't fault anyone for that, really. It's a good result. And yeah, I think an 8 and a 7 is pretty fair.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we do find ourselves being very critical on here because the nature of the beast, really, isn't it? I think we're all more critical being on here than we ever were before we were doing this. But Brad, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, it's been great as always. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you very much for enjoying our content and sticking with us through it. Who knows what goals we'll hit as a group. For those of you on the Facebook, you know how well this channel's been doing. So thank you very much for all your support on all the platforms. And I hope you had a great Christmas and New Year, guys. And I will see you, Stoke, I believe it will be, won't it? That's our next post-match, Chris.
Stoke, and I think it's a Saturday kickoff.
Oh God, Saturday kickoff. What are they?
Saturday kickoff. I think I'm not. It's a very good question. It's making me wonder now because we're on the BBC, but we're not on the BBC. We're on like one of their red button things or something.
Yeah, it's normally like their freeview option. They tend to do it with I think they do it the same with the snooker. You can catch a snooker and red button and pick your match. I think they're just doing that for the FA Cup in this case as well.
Yeah. Now we have got, it is Saturday the 9th of January, a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. Would you believe? I never thought I'd see the day.
I remember when they used to happen that this was all fields. Farmer's tale, isn't it?
Justin, yes, I can see you now, mate. It's just a try again. Can you? I can see you now. We're going. Anyway.
Yeah. Now, Justin. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Cheers, Justin. Nice to see you, mate. All the best. Bye. Brad, you take care of yourself. I'll see you in a week's time, if not before, for the post-match show as per normal. All the best, mate. Stay safe.
Yeah. Take care. Take care, guys.
Cheers, mate. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We sit here. We do criticise. It's our jobs, well, not our jobs to criticise, but we're fans. we all criticise. We've all got our thoughts. We've all got our opinions. Ours come out a little bit more strongly because we do this, and we obviously want you guys to comment. So we tend to sometimes say things we don't always necessarily believe just to get you guys to comment. But it's nice that you do, and it's nice that you join us. Don't forget, if you are watching us on catch up, or you want to watch us on catch up, don't forget where we are. We are on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV, on Periscope and Twitter at Leicester TID, and on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group. And if you want to listen to us, give us about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, and you can find us on Google, Apple iTunes, Spotify, and Anchor, on all good websites. We're under Leicester Till I Die. And if you want to listen to us on Alexa, just go, Alexa, play the podcast Leicester Till I Die, and you will find us. At last, a woman that does as she's told. And there you go. It's coming up on the side of me. Guys, stay safe, take care, and all the best. I'll see you on Tuesday for the preview show with Craig, as we look forward to the FA Cup game against Stoke. Happy New Year, guys. Stay safe. All the best now. Bye.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Shut up and sit down.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.